Hey everybody, John Malanca here with my dear friend and colleague Natasha Trenev, the mother of probiotics and the founder and president of Natren Probiotics. Hey Natasha,
Hey, John, we got a lot to talk about today.
we have a lot to talk about, and this topic you're seeing more and more these days for whatever reason. I think the new weight loss drugs are out there, but it's currently about $150 billion a year industry and growing. And I think that number will double in the next 5 or 6 years here. But the topic is the hidden dangers of the weight loss epidemic. And I talk about this because I think, you know, I've gained weight, lost weight, been on diets, workout, watching what I'm eating, but um, extreme dieting, nutrition, as well as nutrient deficiencies come along with that, which in turn weaken the immune system. People don't realize that there's a muscle loss instead of fat loss for a lot of these, I guess, people wanting to lose some weight, as well as gut health disruptions. We talked about this, how it's damaging the microbiome. Also can lead to bloating, which is surprising, which a lot of people don't realize. And in turn, the domino effect with the digestive system, again, also weakening the immune system. And then mental health. People don't realize when you lose weight, or you're not eating, comes a lot of time with the rapid weight loss is stress, anxiety, depression, et cetera, et cetera. And then the hidden dangers of weight loss that people don't realize also include health issues in the heart, as well as digestive complications, as well as long-term dependency, thinking this is something we do the rest of our life. So, Keith, share with me and our audience the benefits of Natren Precision Probiotics and what you've seen over the years, because I do know that you've had this question asked quite a few times.
Yeah, well, so here, first of all, let's define the problem. The problem is when you take a drug like Ozempic or Wegovy. Ozempic was originally manufactured for control of type 2 diabetes, and it sort of controls digestion, blood sugar, and appetite. And the problem is when you double the amounts, and Wegovy already comes in the double the amounts, what happens is stomach paralysis. And stomach paralysis is very dangerous. Most people don't understand why it's dangerous, because the whole purpose of food going into your stomach, especially proteins, is for the proteins to be broken down and for the bacteria to be killed. So if the bacteria are not killed and the protein isn't processed, we start getting nausea. Nausea is a body warning us that something is not being digested, it's rotting, and it needs to be coming out the way that it came in, which is very unpleasant. So nausea is not only not pleasant, it's a huge red flag warning signal that many people ignore and think they can just walk through. But I want people to understand, and I don't want them to perceive that this is medical advice or that we're interfering what they know between their doctor. But what I have suggested for this terrible, what I call a slowdown in the digestive process in the stomach. And by the way, people then end up with a disease called gastroparesis, which means more permanent, freezing of your stomach muscles or paralysis of your stomach muscles, which is a terrible problem and is very, very unpleasant. So what I tell them is that if you go on a drug like Ozempic or Wegovy, we have a wonderful product. We're the only ones in the world that has this kind of a product. So it's not, like when you say, oh, it's a probiotic. The product is called Digestalac. And Digestalac has a special bacteria from, a yogurt, and it's called Lactobacillus bulgaricus. It's one of the very few probiotic bacteria, less than 3, that can actually pre-digest the food for you. So while your stomach is not able to digest this product, if you take 2 capsules with warm filtered water in about 6 to 8 ounces before each meal, it's going to help you with that digestive problem because your stomach muscles are being paralyzed. And by the way, there's pretty good information now that we know that lizard venom is used in this product to cause the paralysis of the stomach, which is not something we should take lightly. And so then this Digestalac actually helps with the product not being stuck in the stomach. And then it also helps with something called peristalsis, which meaning the movement of the food as it goes through the small and large intestine, because if it doesn't move appropriately, we get something that we label constipation. And constipation means that your body is not efficiently evacuating toxins. So if your body's not evacuating toxins, that means whatever is in the toxin is reabsorbed through the large intestine. Not a good idea in this day and age when we're having to deal with pollution in air, water, the soil, all of our food, the chemicals. It is really not a good idea to slow down peristalsis in the small and large intestine. So then, besides the Digestalac, I recommend that people take one healthy Trinity in the morning and in the evening. Why? Because these drugs come with other very severe effects, such as increased risk of heart attack, bowel obstruction. And if you've ever had bowel obstruction and you got up in the hospital, they literally have to open you up to get that stuff moving because you could die. Gallstones, thyroid cancer, vision loss, muscle loss, weak or brittle bones, especially for those in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And of course, as I've mentioned now umpteen times, severe stomach paralysis. It is horrible for you to think that you can paralyze your stomach and not have huge consequences. And also, there is a very ugly phrase that's developed. We call it an Ozempic face and Ozempic butt, not my terms. So we don't want to have the body, look like that. We want to be able to lose healthy weight. And believe me, I'm working on it because I've had problems all my life. I'm a child of immigrants, been exposed to a lot of toxins growing up in LA with smog and having a lot of problems with my hormones. But as you can see, at 77, I don't look like a dried up prune. And you don't want to look like a dried up prune. So my suggestion to you is, it is between you and your doctor if you want to take these drugs. Entirely your decision. I'm not telling you to take them or not take them. I'm just advising you of what happens to your body. And I am recommending that you help your body while you're doing these things to your body with digestion and with the movement of food, which we call peristalsis, so you don't have these, so you can minimize these horrible problems that are a result of you taking these drugs.
You were talking about all the side effects from these types of drugs. You forgot pancreatitis, which is a huge thing.
Yes.
That number has gone up eight times. Another thing that I work with a lot of cancer doctors, and they're seeing a lot of youth having thyroid cancer right now that have been on these diet drugs. And I know you mentioned Ozempic, and not to single out Ozempic. Can you share the doctors, plural, offices that you working hand in hand with that are prescribing? And like you said, if you're going to do that, you're not telling someone not to do it, but at the same time, do it coincide with a product like the Digestalac or another Natren product that can help if you are going to be doing this. And I hope everybody gets back to health and brings back to balance. But this is just another aid, health aid that can help, one, with the stomach, what you may or may not be going through, good and bad, but also two, helping get things flowing as well. Can you talk about that and what
Sure.
the doctors that are using your products with these other drugs?
Well, we have a local clinic, and I'm happy to say a gentleman is a psychologist, and he also runs an Ozempic clinic. And it's the recommended products to all of his patients. They're reporting good results. They're happy to buy the product. They're happy to take the product, and it's making their compliance much more readily accepted. And when you're compliant, then you get the results that you want, but not possibly at the expense of all those really horrible side effects.
And again, pancreatitis, gallbladder issues, thyroid cancer, kidneys, the list goes on. For our audience, what I know from our past podcast, a lot of people have been calling in and talking to Susan and Carolyn and team. They're asking for you now as well, the mother of probiotics. What can you share? And I know you're being pulled in a billion different areas here, but what can you share with the audience when it comes to one, having questions, but also two, the information that they can bring to their doctors if this is something that they're looking to incorporate into their
Yeah.
health.
Well, we do, we're an old-fashioned health food company. That's why we have people on staff. Susan's been with me for 28 years, Carolyn for more than 20 years. All these people are dedicated. They love their jobs. This is not a telemarketing company. We are really here to serve you, and we deal with multiple doctors. And what I want to say is we don't take care of symptoms. What I have always said is if you give your body the tools to do things correctly, the body is a wonderful machine. It can heal itself. No matter what you do to it, as long as you help it through whatever things that you're throwing at it, it will, adjust itself and make it. So our products, fortunately or unfortunately, are still unique. There are no other products in the world that are like our products. Why? Because it's tedious, expensive, and time consuming to do what we do. And most people feel they can't make enough money doing what we do. So they just, do shortcuts. They provide incredibly good information. The problem is the information doesn't match the efficacy of the probiotic products they're selling. So as the author of the probiotic labeling standard read into congressional record, I can assure you that it's in everybody's best interest to have products that comply to some standard, because we're going through very challenging times. We're seeing very young people with turbo cancers, pancreatic cancer, colon cancer, thyroid cancer, things that I have never heard, and I've been in this industry for 55 years. These are very serious, unpleasant things to happen to you. Yeah. And my whole hope here is that when you take these drugs, and one thing I forgot to mention, the depression that some people feel, that's why this psychologist got into the Ozempic field, because he had to deal with depression with people who were on these drugs, which people don't even realize that when you fool around with your gut and your digestion, it will affect your mood, your well-being, and perception of reality. So it's not a simple issue. It's not something that can be swept under the rug. It's a very serious thing, and we cannot compromise our health in order to get a certain result. We have to help the body if we're going to decide to take a drug that can have all of these side effects.
And there is a healthy way in losing weight. And so I think that's what Natasha's been helping out for the last 4 or 5 decades. And Natasha's team is here to help educate and answer any questions that you may have as well. And I like what you said a minute ago. You said about supplying the tools. Can you hit that one more time?
Sure. What we don't want to do is tell everybody that we're giving you a magic bullet. What I'm trying to tell you, your body is not deficient in sugar. Your body is not deficient in Ozempic. Your body's not deficient in anything that you may be taking orally. Your body becomes deficient of real, genuine, and healthy probiotic bacteria. And that these bacteria are designed to help maximize the healthy function of your whole digestive tract, which impacts every area of health in your body, because your body is tasked to producing 10 million new cells every minute. And if you paralyze your stomach and you cannot digest protein, guess what? You're going to be producing cheap proteins. And this is scientifically validated. If you produce cheap proteins to rebuild your body, you will get a disease. Whatever your weakness is, whatever the problem you may have in your body, that's where it's going to hit. And nobody can predict that. So we have to get to an age of maturity where we start understanding our whole digestive process. Don't take colon cleanses, don't take parasite cleanses without understanding what you're doing to this complex ecosystem, and stop listening to the last person who read 2 paragraphs of some scientific material and decide that they're an expert and going to give you advice. If we're going to get better, we better find people like myself who's dedicated their life in one specific field, and that's probiotic bacteria and fermented foods. I don't do anything else. I can comment about something else, but I don't do something that I don't know especially well and can answer any question about. So it's your life, You have to make the decision. If you're going to take a drug that's going to paralyze your stomach, you better think about helping your body.
And remember, listen to your mother. Natasha
Yes.
Trenev, the mother of probiotics. So, well, thanks, Natasha. I appreciate all your knowledge and what you share with me as well as our audience on a regular basis. So I thank you. And I thank you for our audience to listen. Please submit your questions. One topic that you just hit up on, and we'll end this and maybe do it again. But parasite cleanse. That topic is coming up quite a bit, and I received a lot of phone calls on that one as well. So next topic, we'll hit that. We'll hit that in the coming weeks. But Natasha, always a pleasure. Thank you. And again, listen to your mother. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.